Ms. Hatcher walks into court already carrying a whole lot of drama. She admits she was with not one, not two, but 3 different men at the time her son Josiah was conceived. Yup, 3 possible fathers. That's Mr. Scott, her 5.5-month fling, Mr. Blake, a one-night stand, and Mr. Sneed, her ex. Buckle up, this ride's about to get bumpy.
Ms. Hatcher, you confessed that at the time you conceived your 2-year-old son Josiah, you had sexual relations with 3 men. Now, you don't want your son to suffer for your mistakes, so you've requested.
When Judge Lake asks Hatcher how this all happened, she whips out, wait for it, a color-coded calendar. Yellow for Scott, blue for Blake, green for Sneed, all outlined with red for the conception window. You know it's messy when we need a visual aid to keep track of who's who. Even Judge Lake is like, okay, this is a lot.
So, Ms. Hatcher, please explain to the court how you got yourself in this situation.
Yes, Your Honor. At the time, I had sex with 3 different men around the same time my son conceived.
But then Mr. Scott immediately derails the courtroom with a cheap shot, asking Ms. Hatcher how much she charges for sex. The audacity. Judge Lake shuts him down quick, but the damage is done. Hatcher calls him ignorant, he calls himself the victim, and already the insults are flying across the aisle.
Yes, Your Honor. One time.
Did you use protection?
No, we did not.
How much did he pay?
Excuse me, Mr. Scott?
Scott insists he stepped up from the start. He was in the hospital for Josiah's birth, signed the birth certificate, bought diapers, and even had Josiah over for football Sundays. But Hatcher snaps right back. That man hasn't done any of that. Judge Lake looks like she needs a whistle for this back and forth.
So when the baby was born, were you in the hospital?
Yes, ma'am. I was there for him.
And did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I have it right here. I signed the birth certificate.
Jerome, hand
I've
me
been
that birth
buying
certificate.
diapers. I've been buying playpens.
Things heat up when Hatcher admits she told Scott herself that Josiah might not be his. Apparently, she added up the dates wrong and realized later that conception happened in December, not January. Imagine realizing your entire math was off by a month and dropping that bomb after the baby was born.
That's
the first time that I ever heard question when she mentioned DNA.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Hold on.
That's a lie. I added up the dates and everything. I thought I conceived in January. To find out I didn't conceive in January, I conceived in December.
Meanwhile, Mr. Blake testifies he and Hatcher hooked up the day after Christmas. He says it was just one time. She swears it was twice. Alcohol was involved, so honestly, maybe even he doesn't know. Blake shrugs it off. It was a one-night stand, but Hatcher argues her son has Blake's broad shoulders. The courtroom side eyes.
You have to understand why all these men are doubtful. Mr. Blake.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sleep with Miss Hatcher on the 26th of December? That's the day after Christmas. You should remember that.
We got a hotel room that night.
And then comes the bombshell. Hatcher admits she also doesn't want Sneed, the homeless man she let stay at her house, to be the father because, in her words, he's 43 and doesn't want to work. Judge Lake nearly combusts. But you still slept with him unprotected? I mean, she's got a point.
I thought he had the flat feet.
I know how this may look. The only thing I'm trying to do is just try to find out who my baby father is. Because I know that it's hard. I had moved from a house to having a car.
Scott tries to defend his character, but it spirals into chaos. He's yelling about being a good dad. Hatcher is yelling back that he's horrible, and Judge Lake has had it. She literally tells them both to run your own case. You could cut this tension with a knife.
No,
you don't need to defend yourself,
that's not
sir.
the point, ma'am. I have 3 kids that are watching me, and that woman just said something about my character, and I have a right to say something myself.
Finally, emotions take over. Hatcher breaks down, ashamed to even be in this position. She says all she wants is to give her son a better life, get her GED, and move forward once the truth is out. For a second, the insults stop, and the real weight of this situation sinks in.
It's the other 2 men. Which one of the other 2 men? And the only
So that's
reason,
your hope?
Yes, that is my hope.
Why are you emotional? What do you feel?
Because, you know, I'm ashamed that I'm here for this for my son, because I would have never thought I'd be the kind of woman.
Scott, for all his bluster, has a tearful moment too. He says if Josiah is his, he'll love him unconditionally. No negativity allowed. For once, the tough guy shows a soft side, and Judge Lake actually nods in approval. Blake, on the other hand, admits he's never even met Josiah, but would step up if he's the father.
I understand as a mother how difficult it is, period. Okay? I'm getting people's hopes, and I want to know what your hopes are today, Mr. Scott, as it relates to Josiah.
My hopes period, or that we find out who his father is, whether it is me.
Then, it's results time. Cue the drum roll. There are 3 results to be revealed here. The courtroom is tense and everyone is dying to know who the father really is. Are you guys ready? Well, let's start to get the answers we've been waiting for one by one.
In the case of Hatcher v. Scott, Blake Sneed, pertaining to whether Mr. Sneed is the biological father of 2-year-old Josiah Scott, Mr. Sneed is not Josiah's father.
Whew, those were some intense reveals. It does not end there though. We still have one more result that's yet to be revealed. Who knows? Maybe this is the result we've all been waiting for. Buckle up because here it comes.
In the case of Hatcher v. Scott, Blake Sneed, pertaining to whether Mr. Blake or Mr. Scott is the biological father of 2-year-old Josiah Scott, when it comes to Mr. Blake, you are not the father.
I'm sorry.
But Judge Lake isn't done. She gives both Scott and Hatcher a tongue lashing, reminding them that Josiah deserves better than their constant fighting. Her final words cut deep. You all have to love Josiah more than you dislike one another. A mic drop moment to end this roller coaster.
You're out. What? I'm tired of all this eye rolling. I'm tired of all this like I don't know what I'm talking about. This doesn't have to happen again.
You thought your church was messy? Imagine your bishop standing in paternity court accused of fathering a child with a woman nearly 30 years younger, and she admits she was also with 2 other men at the same time. Yep, this isn't Sunday service, this is pure drama, y'all.
Mr. House, you're a church pastor and bishop who may have fathered a child with a woman who's 28 years younger than you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. House, the bishop in question, tries to set the stage. He says, I'm a pastor, but I'm also a man with manly needs. Sir, did you just confess that from the pulpit of paternity court? Judge Lake raises her eyebrow, and the whole courtroom knows this is about to go left.
It was supposed to have been like a Bible study thing, but instead of that, it was like more, it led on to sexual. Unprotected sex.
Ms. Webster, the young woman, swears they met through her aunt at a church event, but the bishop claps back, nope, it was at a fast food joint. Then, brace yourselves, he calls her a hoochie. Judge Lake nearly combusts, shutting him down. We are not in Hosea chapter 4. This is my courtroom. Iconic.
Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us. Please state your name for the record.
Andre Miles Jones.
Mr. Miles Jones. All right, we are here with Ms. Webster. And of course, we are discussing the paternity as it relates to...
Enter Mr. Miles Jones, the side boyfriend. He strolls in calmly, stating he and Webster had a casual fling that turned into a relationship. Then Judge Lake drops the bomb. Did you know she was also with the bishop? His face freezes, eyes wide. Plot twist of biblical proportions.
I think she's with me for money.
Well, how do you think that when you never even gave me a penny?
Because things could be, the things that I could do.
But did you do it?
I did. You know, she'll tell you that her phone was off. Her phone went on. My bankroll was on swollen, and I kept.
Webster denies ever using the bishop for money, but he fires back that her phone stayed on because of my bankroll. Judge Lake deadpans. Well, at least if you're the father, we know child support won't be an issue. The shade is real in this courtroom.
And then I didn't even get in contact to tell him until after I had my baby, which he denied her to the Phyllis. He denied her. He wanted a DNA test.
When Webster got pregnant, she says she tried to call the bishop, but his number was disconnected. He claims he didn't even know about the baby until her aunt called his superiors. Imagine finding out you might have a child through church gossip. That's next level drama.
That was the last time we spoke together.
He never.
All right.
Let me just say this, Your Honor. We're here because I made the phone call to come. When I found out immediately.
Exactly. So I didn't.
When the auntie called me and told me.
Meanwhile, Miles Jones testifies that Webster told him straight up he was the father. She denies it, insisting she only said, it's a possibility. Back and forth they go, while Judge Lake tries to untangle who heard what. You could cut this tension with a communion wafer.
I think he did the same thing.
Let me look at this birth certificate.
Hold on.
I haven't even seen the birth certificate, but I did sign some papers at Amelian's birth.
Yes, and I told you that your name wasn't going on there because it was a possibility that you was not my baby father.
The evidence? Baby Amelia's birth certificate, and guess what? No father listed, but the baby's last name is Miles Jones. He beams with pride, saying he's been there since day one, changing diapers and rubbing feet. The bishop sits stone-faced like, why am I even here?
Miles Jones.
That's my last name.
Yes, thank you very much. That's his last name.
I was there ever since she told me that she was pregnant when she was 6 months. I was there. I made sure she ate good. I made sure she needed, if she needed money for anything.
Emotions spill over as Miles Jones admits he hopes Amelia is his. He's already bonded with the child, while the bishop keeps his guard up. He even confesses he lost a daughter years ago and can't bear to open his heart unless DNA proves it. Suddenly the bravado cracks and we see the pain underneath.
This child is yours.
Yes, I am.
And as you look at the child, this beautiful baby, Emilion, do you see yourself?
No.
You don't?
No.
I do. She looks just like you.
Finally, cue the drum roll. Judge Lake has the first result in her hands. She is ready to drop the bomb. The moment we have all been waiting for is finally here. It's been one hell of a ride, back and forth with so much drama. Now let's see where it ends.
It has been determined that Mr. Miles Jones, you are not her father.
That was a shocker. I definitely did not see that one coming. Well, the tears might not be over just yet. The second results are in, and Judge Lake is ready to drop the bomb once again.
In the case of House v. Webster, Miles Jones, as it pertains to Mr. House, it has been determined by this court that you are not her father.
The closing is classic Judge Lake. It takes DNA to be a father, but it takes love to be a daddy. Miles Jones nods proudly, vowing to keep raising Amelia as his own. Talk about turning scandal into salvation.
Wish you all the best of luck. Court is adjourned. Jerome, will you call? I don't know if you two want to continue to try to have a relationship, but most importantly, in this courtroom,
Ms. Shoma walks into paternity court with a heavy confession. She had a weekend fling with her co-worker while still married to Mr. Clare. That's right, 2 men in one weekend, and now there's an 11-month-old baby whose father could be either her husband or her co-worker, Mr. Freeman. Talk about messy.
good day, everyone. Ms. Shomo, you confess you had a weekend fling with a co-worker while married to the defendant, Mr. Kleckler.
Judge Lake presses Shomo, and she admits she was lonely and felt neglected. She claims her husband chose his friends over her, leaving her home alone with their kids while he went out. Meanwhile, Freeman swooped in with the attention she craved and, well, we know how that ended.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Shomo, what made you stray from your marriage and possibly conceive 2 children outside of your relationship?
Your Honor, I was young.
Mr. Clare is blindsided. He insists he had no idea about the fling until months into the pregnancy. The man looks crushed, saying his wife swore up and down she was faithful. Then Shomo drops a bomb. He was seeing someone else too. Judge Lake's eyebrow shoots up like, oh, so everybody had a side hustle?
About your wife's affair?
No, Your Honor, I did not know about the affair.
Nothing about it?
No, Your Honor. She was out late at night, 12, 1 o'clock with the kids. We already got 3 previous children, Your Honor.
Freeman admits he knew Shomo was married, but he says she came to him complaining her husband was cheating too. Their conversations turned into something else. You can see Judge Lake bracing herself because this case is spiraling fast.
And, you know, she was saying that he was cheating, you know what I'm saying, talking to other females or whatever. So, you know, so we started conversating and talking, and it went from there.
And so when she got pregnant, did she tell you?
Then we hit the real gut punch. Shomo says her marriage fell apart after discovering her husband cheated with his best friend's aunt. Yes, you heard that right. An aunt. The courtroom gasps, and you can feel the heartbreak as she explains that's what drove her into Freeman's arms.
Me, Your Honor. It let me know that, hey, I lost something. I really want this person back.
Your Honor, this would have never came down to this if he didn't cheat on me with his best friend's aunt.
Really?
It completely ruined my life on till this day.
Shomo tears up, saying she was deeply in love with her husband and wanted no one else, but that betrayal broke her. You can see the pain as she admits her affair was more out of hurt than passion. Judge Lake gently connects the dots. This was revenge cheating mixed with heartbreak.
He was the only man I wanted to marry in this lifetime.
So you were pregnant, and you believed your husband was a father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when the baby was born, were you just a happy family?
For a while, Shomo really believed her husband was the father. She says their son even looked like her side of the family. But as the baby got older, she started noticing features that reminded her of Freeman. Cue the guilt, cue the confusion, cue the emotional storm.
When you all were together?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
And yet, was it even more surprising to you when you started to see or feel like...
Freeman enters with his own shocking statement. He says he once told Shoma he wanted a baby with her, and she accuses him of scheming to get her pregnant. He swears that's not true, blaming a broken condom. The courtroom is holding its breath as these two argue over whether this child was an accident or a plan.
Theseus was getting a little older. I seen difference in him. And I wanted to tell Mr. Freeman because there's a possibility that it is his son and I don't want to take no life from him with his son.
Then Mr. Clear takes the stand and reveals he had doubts from the very beginning. Co-workers teased him the baby would come out with curly hair. He says he begged his wife late at night, "Just tell me if it's not mine," but she cried and denied everything. You can feel the heartbreak in his voice.
He just came and saw him one day while I was walking. He walked up to me and he was like, "So this is little man right here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You know what? He kind of looks like me," but I didn't know if he was joking or whatever, but I was like...
Judge Lake steps in with wisdom, reminding Clear that asking questions doesn't make him nosy. It makes him a dad who cares. For once, he softens, and you can tell he truly wanted to believe this baby was his, but the doubts never fully left.
At a certain point, I let it go. I believed it 100%. It wasn't until she left me that I didn't, I found out he could be somebody else's.
So it wasn't until that time.
Freeman now declares he's ready to step up. He wants full custody if the baby is his. He says he'll raise the child better than he was raised. Meanwhile, Claire admits he'll love the boy no matter what, but compares their marriage to oil and water. Ooh, that's rough.
Because that's what fathers do. Your baby comes out, they're talking about your baby, you want to know what's going on. Coming from a person that also asks a lot of questions, I do too, that's a good thing. And don't ever stop doing that.
Finally, the DNA tests are here. It's time to finally find out the truth about this case and who the actual father is. There's been lies and heavy truth bombs. Now let's get down to the bottom. Who do you think the father is?
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Freeman.
Shoma breathes a sigh of relief, saying her son needs a father, and now he has one. Freeman beams, promising to raise the boy right, and Judge Lake closes with the ultimate truth bomb. This baby deserves love from all sides, no matter what went down between the adults.
Congratulations, y'all.
So appreciate it. Do what I got to do. That's all I got to say.
I'm really relieved because my son needs a father in his life.
Ms. Alston steps up to paternity court with a confession. She doesn't know which of 3 men fathered her 2-year-old daughter, Jasmine. 3 men in 2 weeks. Mr. Jones, her ex, says she cheated and he has proof. Mr. Delk, a one-night stand, insists he's the only father figure. And then there's Mr. Harrison Jr., who couldn't even show up, so his dad came instead.
Ms. Alston, you say for the past 2 years you've been living in uncertainty and confusion. And you're not sure which of 3 men fathered your 2-year-old daughter, Jasmine, and say you grew up without a father and don't.
Ms. Alston admits she slept with all 3 men during the same 2-week period. Girl. She even says Jones and Harrison were actual relationships, but Delk was just a one-nighter. Judge Lake's eyes go wide because this case is already shaping up messy.
To help determine paternity. Now, Ms. Alston.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please explain to the court how 3 different men could possibly be your daughter's biological father.
Mr. Jones recalls how he found out she was pregnant. She told him, "How would you feel if you're not the dad?" Excuse me? That's not how pregnancy announcements work. No wonder he never trusted her.
She said to me, "How would you feel if you're not the dad?"
That's not how I told you. That's not how I told you. I told you that I was pregnant. I told you after the test that you may not be the father.
At the hospital, Jones's mom showed up thinking she was about to meet her grandbaby. Meanwhile, Harrison's dad walked in calling himself grandfather. Awkward silence followed because no one actually knew who the baby belonged to.
Oh, so the grandparents were there thinking they were having a grandchild for real?
Unfortunately, yes, they did. I didn't tell them because I didn't want it to be out. It was unexpected when I saw both of them there at the hospital.
Talk about a baby shower plot twist. Grandpa Harrison insists Jasmine has his son's stubborn mannerisms. He even says she stays with them, calling her part of the family. Meanwhile, Jones's mom swears Alston is lying about who invited them to the hospital. The moms are bickering harder than the kids.
You arrived at the hospital thinking your grandchild was going to be born.
Well, when I arrived, the baby was already born.
Okay.
And I introduced myself to everyone, and I said that...
Judge Lake points out the obvious. Little Jasmine is bouncing between two different grandparents. Ms. Childs insists she babysits and helps, but Alston snaps back that most of the support came from the Harrisons. You can feel the tension rising.
The adults are making this much more difficult than it has to be because, you know, she's the innocent party here. Ashley, she'll come along so far with us, but then at the very last moment, she'll back out.
Comes Mr. Delk, Mr. One Night Stand himself. He admits he never thought he could even have kids because he lost a testicle in an injury. He's pushing 50, and these other guys are in their 20s. Yet somehow, here he is in paternity court.
And you say you've been a father figure to her.
I started watching her in June, okay? This was when you was doing your little paperwork and trying to find a job and everything. And basically, what was going on was...
Delk proudly explains he stepped up anyway. He watched Jasmine for months, moved downtown to be closer, even played mom and daddy. He says, "She lives with me." Judge Lake leans in like, "So this wasn't just a fling, huh?"
You know what I'm saying?
And Miss Alston, how old are you?
I'm 20.
You know, I'm gonna give it to you, Mr. Delk. That would make an older man say, you know what? Look, if I'm going up with...
When asked what he hopes for, Delk gets emotional. "She's my daughter regardless. If I walk out that door, she'll holler for me." Folks, this is the first time a one-night stand story actually sounds heartwarming.
I moved downtown in the heart of the DMZ, Bullet City, just so I could be close where her mama and her could have a relationship.
Judge Lake turns to the others. Jones admits if she's his, he'll step up. If not, he's done. Grandpa Harrison just wants to stay grandpa, blood or not. And Ms. Childs? She says she'll love Jasmine either way. Say what you want about the drama. At least this baby has a whole village.
If she's not, then life goes on as it already is. I keep my married life and I go on doing my own thing.
Mr. Harrison, how about you? What are your hopes for today?
Well, I'm hoping that...
But then, the shade arrives. Childs testifies she's seen at least 7 different men picking up Alston while she was dating her son. 7. The courtroom gasps. Even Judge Lake's jaw drops.
But when you keep answering me that you just need somebody to step up, everybody done stepped up.
I mean, like...
Is step up as a young woman.
And here it is. Cue the drum roll. Judge Lake is ready to reveal the DNA results. The wait is finally over. This is what we have all been waiting for. Who is the father of the child? I guess the DNA results are about to give us that answer. I hope you guys are ready.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Delk.
The courtroom erupts. Ms. Childs looks devastated. Delk beams, saying he always knew she was his. He even jokes raising Jasmine brought the woman out of him after Desert Storm. Judge Lake sums it up perfectly. Jasmine has a village, and now she has the truth.
See your emotion, I see that. But what I do feel so happy for is that baby Jasmine's got a village.
Oh, yeah.
And I want you to understand that that baby's counting on you, all right?
Ms. Davis takes the stand and admits flat out. When her son Javian was born, there were 4 possible fathers. 4. One was her ex, one was the defendant, Mr. Smith, one was a random one-night stand, and the 4th? She doesn't even know his name. Yep, she literally forgot the man's name.
Ms. Davis, you're in court today hoping to right your wrongs. When your 2-year-old son, Javion, was born, he had 4 possible fathers, including the defendant. You hope today's result?
Judge Lake asks why this case is so important, and Ms. Davis breaks down crying. She reveals she grew up in foster homes, never knew her own dad until she was 18, and doesn't want her son to grow up the same way. Emotional stuff? Then she admits, "I practically made a hoe of myself." The courtroom gasps.
Through 13 different foster homes. I've been to 4 different group homes, and I didn't grow up knowing who my father was until I was 18 years old. And my son's only 2. I mean, it's not his fault.
Mr. Smith, the defendant, sits there stone-faced. He says Davis herself once told him he wasn't the father, and that's why he's doubtful now. Davis doesn't even deny it. She just shrugs, saying she didn't think it was him at the time. Talk about confusing signals.
Yes, I asked if I could be the father, and she told me no, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Davis, we said that there were 4 potential fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
I need you to walk me through that.
Then comes the evidence. Ms. Davis pulls out a calendar color-coded with her hookups. Judge Lake looks at it like she's grading homework. November 12th, ex-boyfriend. November 15th, Mr. Smith. November 17th, another guy. November 19th, random man whose name she doesn't remember. Folks, this is not a planner. This is chaos.
Potential father number 2 we see is Mr. Smith. the defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now tell me about that relation.
I don't think I could call it a relationship. We met on the chat line. I hung out with him.
She explains she spent a whole week with Mr. Smith. No protection, just a fling. Then went right back to her ex. Judge Lake nearly chokes when Davis admits, "It wasn't satisfactory, so I didn't really feel the need to go back." Girl, that's savage.
Satisfactory, so I didn't really feel the need to go back.
It wasn't satisfactory?
No, Your Honor.
I'm gonna leave that alone. So the man in blue, potential father number 3, who's that?
Next, potential father number 3, just one night, met him on a chat line. Then 2 days later, hookup number 4, the mystery man whose name she forgot. Even Jerome looks like he wants to pass her a notepad. At least write it down, sis.
No, I mean, I know I made mistakes, Your Honor, but I don't consider my son a mistake.
This type of sexual behavior is what lands you here.
By now, Judge Lake is clearly frustrated. She scolds Davis, saying these choices are exactly why she's in this courtroom today. Davis nods, admitting she knows she messed up, but insists her son isn't a mistake. Emotional, messy, real.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, what did you do? Go about just calling each one? Did you notify any of them?
Davis admits she already tested 2 men, her ex-boyfriend and hookup number 3. Both came back negative. That left only Mr. Smith and the nameless hookup. So she dragged Smith to court, insisting she just feels he's the dad. But then she blurts out, "Honestly, I didn't want him to be." Ouch.
Since you're ex-boyfriends, now you have to do a process of elimination. So now we're left with Mr. Smith and potential father number 4.
Mr. Smith fires back, calling her behavior slutty. Judge Lake shuts that down fast, but reminds him he was with her the entire week of conception. Then he admits he only saw Javion once and felt too scared to bond. Judge Lake looks like she's heard every excuse in the book.
Mama's boy, then why she got me?
Have you ever asked Mr. Smith, has she ever asked you to take a test?
No, she haven't, Your Honor. She skipped me and went to them. I guess I was the last option, Your Honor.
Smith insists Davis is just trying to trap him for money, but then opens up. His own dad died when he was 3, so he knows how it feels to grow up fatherless. Suddenly the tough act cracks, and you can see he does care deep down.
And I'm the father, like, I think you just leaning on me. This would be a gold digger. Give me for my money or what I got. You want me to buy some because the other guys don't want to be there.
I thought you didn't have nothing.
To her, I don't, but she don't know what I have, Your Honor.
So
the back and forth drags on. She says he never stepped up. He says she never called him. Judge Lake claps back. He lives with his mama. Call his mama. The audience laughs, but the point lands. This baby is 2 years old, and these grown folks still haven't figured it out.
But you have not made your way to go see him? Except one time?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so for you, Ms. Davis, if you believe in your heart after your process of elimination that Mr. Smith is...
And here it is. Cue the drum roll. Judge Lake is ready to reveal the DNA results. The wait is finally over. This is what we have all been waiting for. Who is the father of the child? I guess the DNA results are about to give us that answer. I hope you guys are ready.
In the case of Davis v. Smith pertaining to 2-year-old Javion Davis, Mr. Smith, you are not Javion's father.
Judge Lake doesn't let her off easy. She drags her into chambers, reminding her this is about Javion, not her past. In one of the most emotional closings ever, Judge Lake hugs Davis and says, "Your past is not your future." Tears everywhere.
You all right?
I've had my whole days, and as a result, I have a son, but I'm not gonna keep looking for different men to test.
Look at me. This is for your child. This is about Javion.